Yo, what's good, everybody? What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Johnny Finesse. Welcome back to the channel with another Jimmy Highroller video. I've never seen anything like this.
In the final
stretch to the channel, make sure you hit that sub button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? And I also dropped another video, car show, same one today. The New York City International Auto Show. I went there. Go check it out. They had some cool cars. I'm gonna put the link right there for y'all. And with that being said, let's get into it.
Stretch of the 2023 NBA season, and after nearly 6 months of games, head-to-head matchups, and some of the best performances we've ever seen, we still don't have a definitive MVP. Usually by this point in the season,
no cap. We don't even know who's going to be MVP right now. That's dead crazy.
There's a general consensus as to who the most.
We all really just worried about the playoffs. Who's who in the playoffs, because it's close. It's very close in the West.
Valuable player is, but not this year, because this season we are watching the greatest, deepest, and weirdest MVP race we've ever seen. Today's distant premise magnitude of what these guys are doing night to night. Embiid looks like a Shaq-Hakeem hybrid right now, and the league has absolutely no answer for it. 30 and 15 is just another day in the office for Giannis, and Jokic continues to make the NBA look like a side hobby. NBA fans are spoiled, so to demonstrate just how dominant these three big men are, here's a list of every single big man in NBA history who finished a season with a PER of 30 or more.
Only Shaq, probably. Maybe. Nobody? Oh, well. That's it? David Robinson, Shaquille. Look at that. Nobody. Anthony Davis. See, now when you put it all the way from the jump to now, is like, it's crazy, and it's all on the bottom too. That's it. No cap.
And that's it. A mark that's only been accomplished.
Like, if you're a 7-footer, all you gotta do is just gain some weight. That's all Victor and Chet gotta do is just gain some weight. Giannis was the prototype, and he worked.
In 18 seasons by big men, and half of those seasons belong to Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic. In fact, Giannis is the first player in modern NBA history to average at least 31 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. Embiid is the first player in modern history to average at least 33, 10, and 4 a game. And Jokic is the only player in modern NBA history to average at least 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists. We are witnessing 3 historically significant seasons right now. Well, actually, despite the MVP conversation narrowing down to just these 3,
It's crazy because nobody's talking about Giannis. And Giannis is doing it. They ain't talking about Jokic and Embiid. Like, this shit is crazy. I'll probably give it to Joel though, because he been in second place twice. Both of them already got one.
Seeing statistical explosions around the league from players who aren't even getting a mention for the coveted award. To put into perspective just how well you have to be playing this season to really have a chance at the MVP, Jason Tatum is averaging 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists a game, and he's fallen out of the MVP discussion. 30, 9, and 5 a game. A stat line so good that LeBron James has never accomplished it. Neither did Michael Jordan, or Kobe, or Durant, or Bird, or Kawhi. In fact, Jason Tatum is the first and only wing in NBA history to achieve this stat line. And yet, he has no shot at winning the MVP, despite his team having the second best record in the league. But at least Tatum is propelling the Celtics to wins, because Luka Doncic was the favorite to win the MVP coming into the season, but after losing 14 of their last 19 games.
Nah, that's dead crazy. They traded away all the good role players for Kyrie. But it ain't his fault though. Like,
his chances of winning the award have completely evaporated, turning what should have been
but it's good because it's next year.
An all-time great season into an utter disaster. Luka is averaging 33 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists a game right now. A stat line that has never been accomplished in the history of the NBA. Through points and assists, Luka has generated 47% of the Dallas Mavericks' points this season, which makes him easily the most potent offensive weapon in the NBA, a wide gap on even the league's best players. So, in terms of value, Luka's is off the charts, but
he used the ball hog, you know what I'm saying?
Still not nearly enough to earn him the title as the league's most valuable player. In 2017, the regular season race for the MVP was a close one. Looking back, some people even referred to it as one of the greatest MVP races in NBA history. The 4 players that rose above the rest of the league that season were Westbrook, Harden, Kawhi, and LeBron. And in terms of game-to-game impact, these were their game score averages for that season.
Damn.
Westbrook leading the NBA
Damn, that was 2017.
with an average game score of 24.9, with Harden and LeBron just slightly trailing him. But over the last 6 years, the game has changed. A lot. Because here are the game score leaders from this season. 5 players, all topping Westbrook's MVP season. The standard for what we expect from the league's most valuable player has never been higher than it is today. So with the MVP coming down to the wire, how will voters decide who will win the award? Well, on Basketball Reference, there's a page called NBA MVP Award Tracker, which uses a model based on previous voting results to try and predict who will win the MVP in the current season, or at least who has the best odds. And at the moment, the top 5 MVP candidates are James Harden with 3%, Jason Tatum with 3.6%, Giannis with 7.9%, Embiid with 10.6%, and currently sitting at the number 1 spot is Nikola Jokic with a staggering 66.4% probability of winning the award for the 3rd straight season. But Basketball Reference isn't the only source that has Jokic as the heavy favorite to win the MVP this season. Estimated box plus minus is one of the best all
Cause he be losing in the playoffs too much. He be having good teams get into the playoffs and lose. Like, he still has the same team. He still got that shit.
in one advanced statistics in basketball. An updated version of the traditional plus-minus stat, but with far more factors and variables baked into it. And dating back to 2014, when estimated plus-minus was first introduced, the league leader in EPM has gone on to win the MVP 6 of the last 9 seasons. And among all players, the league leaders in estimated plus-minus this season are Jokic, Embiid, Lillard, Butler, and Durant. Once again, Jokic having a slight edge over Embiid and a considerable lead above Giannis. But possibly the most revealing metric of all comes from 538 and their Raptor War stat. Introduced to the world in 2019, this predictive model is about as convoluted and elaborate as one can possibly get. I mean, at this point, we're about one step away from a course in advanced mathematics. But to find the purpose of this statistic, look no further than its name. Robust algorithm using player tracking and on-off ratings with wins above replacement. Or a very fancy way of saying we used every metric under the sun to reveal how valuable a player is relative to everyone else. It's complicated, but it's good. And in terms of Raptor War, here are the top 100 most valuable players in the league. Towards the bottom, you have players like Jose Alvarado, TJ McConnell, and Tyrese Maxey with Raptor Wars around 3. Climb up the charts, and the first player to crack the top 50 is Lou Dort, followed by Austin Reeves and Zach LaVine, all around a score of about 5. Keep climbing, and you'll find the best players in the entire league. Giannis with a score of 9, SGA with a score of 9.2, Jimmy Butler with 9.3, and Dame, Embiid, and Luka as the only players to crack a double-digit Raptor War with scores of 11, 12.2, and 12.3 respectively. Well, actually, Jokic also has a score in the double digits. In fact, Nikola Jokic has a mark so high, it looks like a typo. So with all the numbers and odds unanimously pointing at Jokic to win this year's MVP, at this point, this should be all wrapped up. But it's not. In the most recent MVP ladder released by the NBA themselves, the number 1 spot is actually held by Joel Embiid, followed by Jokic in second. Our friends over at DraftKings have Embiid as the favorite at the moment as well, with a sizable lead over both Jokic and Giannis. But this wasn't the case just a couple weeks ago. For what felt like virtually the entire season, Nikola Jokic was leading the charge for this year's regular season MVP. The Nuggets.
A lot of them odds. Mike, I'll put $1 down on Jason Tatum. I can't
Jokic and Giannis. But this wasn't the case just a couple weeks ago. For what felt like virtually the entire season, Nikola Jokic was leading the charge for this year's regular season MVP. The Nuggets had the best record in the NBA, Jokic's game-changing dominance was as strong as ever, and for the last 3 months, it felt like his third MVP was all but inevitable. And then it happened.
What happened?
So I didn't know if I wanted to wait to bring this conversation on No Mercy, or was it appropriate for First Take? And damn it, I'm here, so it's appropriate for First Take. So let me get us in outside of our comfort zone a little bit when we talk about the MVP conversation. When it comes down to guys winning MVP since 1990, it's only 3 guys that won the MVP that wasn't top 10 in scoring. Do you know who those 3 guys were?
Who were they?
Steve Nash, Jokic, and Dirk Nowitzki. What do those guys have in common? I'll let it sit there and marinate. You think about it.
Should Embiid be the MVP frontrunner?
Okay, well, don't come giving me this stuff about a triple-double. I don't want to hear that. Early in the season, about 30 games, 25 to 30 games into the season, he was actually around 9.5, 9.8. And then all of a sudden, he started searching for them assists to get it up above 10. So don't come giving me nothing about a triple-double. And don't come up here telling me about what?
Oh my God. Are you sitting here and saying Nikola Jokic is having his numbers padded? Is that what you're saying?
You heard what the hell I said.
Stephen, I mean no offense to you, and I mean no offense to First Take, because I think this show is extremely valuable. It is an honor to be on this desk every day. It really is. But what we've just witnessed is the problem with this show, where we create narratives that do not exist in reality. The implication, what you are implying, that the white voters that vote on NBA are racist, that they favor white people. You just said that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Oh, see that? Now he's gonna.
Yes, you did. That is exactly what you implied, Kendrick Perkins. That is exactly what you implied. Secondly, hold on.
I did not call. I stated the facts. And you're not about to sit up.
We all know what you implied the other day. We all know what you implied just now. Hold on.
I stated
One at a time.
it's the facts.
One at a time.
It's the facts. It's the facts.
I mean, Steve Nash shouldn't have won. I'm not gonna lie, over LeBron, I ain't gonna.
In one of the most egregious cases of media bias I've ever seen, Kendrick Perkins goes on national television and completely sabotages Nikola Jokic's potential MVP run with false propaganda. Immediately following these statements, the conversation regarding the most valuable player in the league became diluted with narratives that had nothing to do with basketball. And for the first time all season, the following NBA MVP ladder featured Joel Embiid with the top spot. The sole catalyst leading to this monumental shift on the leaderboard being Perkins' statements. So how does a player start the season leading the MVP race, finish the season playing even better, have every metric in the game in their favor, and still get overtaken in the MVP race? Well, if this entire saga has taught us anything, it's that narratives mean just as much as actual merit in the NBA, which we already knew as fans of the game. But to see it unfold right in front of our faces, to watch an entire season get boiled down to false narratives that skew voter thinking, is actually insane. Value is subjective. Some people value two-way dominance and holding down the best record in the NBA. Some people value offensive mastery and an unstoppable skill set. Others value record-breaking efficiency and unshakable consistency. 3 generational players, 3 all-time great seasons, 1 MVP trophy. The 2023 NBA MVP race is the most difficult, most loaded, and weirdest MVP race we have ever seen.
That shit is crazy though. Like, we that don't know who's the MVP, and it's like less than 10 games left. Like less than 10, less than 5. Hey, make sure y'all hit that sub button if you made it to the end of the video. You obviously like the video, so hit that sub button now.